Recording in progress.
Welcome everybody. I'd like to call the June 6th Board of Adjustments meeting to order. It's 1:30. Can I get a roll call verification of quorum, please?
Rob Pierce,
Here.
Don Christensen,
Here.
Peter Gashan,
Here.
Kathy Julian,
Here.
Leo Horishny.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can you all please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Can we please have the ethics law and announcements?
Thank you, Chair. Board members are reminded that if with respect to any matter or person coming before the board today, you've received a gift or loan, you have a pecuniary interest, you have a commitment in a private capacity such as a family, employment, business, or similar relationship, or you provided representation or counseling before an agency to a person or entity for compensation within the last year on a matter being considered, you must disclose that gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation at the time the matter is being considered. And you must furthermore abstain from deliberation or voting on the matter if it is clear that the gift, loan, interest, commitment, or prior representation would materially affect the independence of judgment of a reasonable person. Board members are also reminded that under the Board of Adjustment rules, if you had any contact outside of this meeting with any person interested in a matter coming before the board, you should disclose the nature of that contact at this meeting. Additionally, this meeting is being held in the County Commission chambers and via Zoom. To attend via Zoom, please log into the Zoom webinar at the link found on the agenda. You can also join the meeting by phone. The phone number is 1-669-900-9128 and meeting ID 872-1567-5749 and press pound. For those wishing to make public comment via Zoom, log into the Zoom webinar and utilize the raise hand feature during any public comment period. To provide public comment via telephone only, press *9 to raise hand and *6 to mute and unmute.
Thank you. Have the appeal procedure, please, Mr. Lloyd.
Yeah, most decisions rendered by the Board of Adjustment are appealable to the Board of County Commissioners. If you disagree with the decision of the Board of Adjustment and qualify as an aggrieved person or party, you may appeal in writing within 10 calendar days from the date that the decision being appealed is reduced to writing, filed with the Secretary of the Board of Adjustment, and mailed to the original applicant in the proceeding being appealed in accordance with Washoe County Code. Please call the planning staff immediately at 328-3610 for information on the appeal procedure and the application fee.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open up general public comment. Do we have any general public comment?
There is no public comment in chambers, and I have no hands raised via Zoom.
All right, we'll close public comment. Moving on to item number 6, approval of June 6th agenda. There's no changes, so can I get a motion to accept as written?
Peter Gashan, for the record, I'll move to approve the June 6, 2024 agenda.
Okay.
Member Leo Horishny, I second the motion.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 7, approval of the May 2nd draft minutes. Everybody get a chance to look at it. Is there any changes that we need to do, or can I get a motion to accept?
I move to accept the draft minutes from the May meeting as written.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. All right, so this next one is administrative case number WAD-MIN 24-0002 for a community pancake breakfast. Mr. Lloyd, can you please announce it?
Absolutely. For hearing, discussion, and possible action to approve an administrative permit for an outdoor entertainment event, specifically a pancake breakfast for approximately 500 attendees at the North Lake Tahoe Fire Protection District Station at 875 Tanager Street. The event will take place on July 2nd of 2024 from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Representing Washoe County in this matter is Planner Julie Olander.
Okay, board, this is one of those ones that come up every year. It's the same that we do every year. Do you guys need to hear this case, or can we just vote on it?
I have no problem.
Oh, I agree. No,
You okay?
yeah, I'm great.
Okay.
I agree as well.
Okay, can I get a motion then, please?
Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh,
Provided that
for
the,
public comment,
Yes.
sorry.
right,
I
and
forgot.
provided that the vote is being made based on the information presented to you today, including through your staff report.
As noted, yes. And I forgot to open up public comment. Do we have any public comment on this?
No public comment in chambers, and on Zoom, there are no hands raised.
Okay, so bring it back to the board. Can I get a motion?
Yes, I'll move.
Okay, a second?
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes unanimously. All right, the next one is B, 9B, and 8B, sorry. Administrative case permit number WAD-MIN 24-0003, the League to Save Lake Tahoe Fashion Show and Luncheon. Mr. Lloyd, can you please announce that?
Yeah, for hearing, discussion, and possible action to approve an administrative permit for an outdoor community event with associated conditions. The application was submitted by the League to Save Lake Tahoe for the League to Save Lake Tahoe Annual Fashion Show and Luncheon. The event is scheduled to be heard on August 3rd, 2024, from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. The event is proposed to consist of an invitation-only fashion show and luncheon within a temporary tent structure located on the beach adjacent to Lake Tahoe. The event organizer estimates a maximum of 475 people, which includes 50 support persons at the event. Representing Washoe County in this matter is Senior Planner Courtney Wyke.
Okay. Once again, it's one of those where it's a permit to do something that we've done in the past. So do you guys need to hear the presentation?
I'm good without.
Okay?
I'm good without as well. This is, happens every year, and it's
Right.
perfectly fine.
Right, okay, so you guys are good based upon what you've read and understand on this. Okay, can we open up public comment?
There is no public comment in chambers and no hands raised via Zoom.
All right, we'll bring it back to the board for a motion. We get a motion, please?
I move to accept the permit for this event as presented in the staff report.
Okay, can I get a second?
Peter Kashan for the record, I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, the next one is 8C, Administrative Case Permit Number WAD-MIN 24-0004 for the Peterson Care of the Infirm. Mr. Lloyd, will you please announce?
Yeah. For hearing, discussion, and possible action to approve an administrative permit to allow a recreational vehicle to be occupied by an infirm resident on the property located at 6210 Lundy Road in Sun Valley. The caretaker resides within the dwelling on the parcel. Representing Washoe County in this matter is Planner Katie Stark.
All right, Katie, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Katie Stark, Washoe County Planning. The case before you is WAD-MIN 24-0004, Peterson Care of the Infirm. The request is for an administrative permit to allow an RV to be occupied by an infirm resident at 6210 Lundy Road. The caretaker resides in the residence on the parcel. Washoe County Code Section 110.310.35G allows an RV to be occupied for the care of an infirm resident on site with an approved administrative permit. The property is a .381 acre parcel in the Sun Valley planning area. The site plan shows the north portion of the property with setbacks. The residence is in green and the RV is in blue. The applicant lives in the primary residence and owns the property. The infirm residence is living in the RV and is the father of owner Nicole Peterson. Washoe County Code Section 110.310.35G requires a signed affidavit from a Nevada licensed physician identifying the need for on-premises care. Nevada licensed APRN Shannon Scarborough completed a signed and notarized affidavit in February of '24, stating that the infirm resident needs a person living on the premises to provide care. I did want to mention some previous care of the infirm cases, this piece of code has come up because it does specifically state Nevada licensed physician. Our practice over the years has been recognizing that the code is a bit old and that for many individuals, it's sometimes impossible to actually get into a licensed physician. For many folks, their primary care comes through other licensed medical care practitioners. So we've been willing to accept and not put additional burdens on the person trying to get their hands on this permit to care for somebody. There is an open code enforcement violation on this property. In January of 2024, code enforcement, that's Washoe County Code Enforcement, received a complaint from the Sun Valley General Improvement District stating that the property had an RV illegally connected to water and/or sewer and appeared to have people living in the RV. Code enforcement did investigate and issued a violation of Washoe County Code Section 110.310.35F, temporary camping, which would only allow an RV to be lived in in a temporary situation 14 consecutive days at a time, 4 times a year. The RV that's referenced in that violation is the RV that we are discussing today in this administrative permit, and the infirm resident is the individual living in that RV. The applicant has been working with code enforcement to resolve the matter, and of course, this administrative permit would help solve the piece that would allow somebody to be living in that RV for a period of time. The site has a regulatory zone of medium-density suburban with 20-foot front and rear yard setbacks and 8-foot side yard setbacks. The applicant measured the RV 6 feet from the rock wall that runs along their side yard property line. So that, of course, is not the 8 feet. However, Washoe County Code Section 110.306.10B1 does allow a structure to be 5 feet from rear and side property lines, as long as that structure is 12 feet in height or less, and this RV is less than that 12 feet. The code also requires as much screening as practical of the RV from street view. So for this, we're just going to run through a handful of pictures. This is an overall site plan image showing the screening that's in place. There is a chain link fence that runs along the east and the front portion of the parcel. It's that orange arc you can see on the image. There is a rock wall that's kind of midway through the parcel in that pink color. The purplish that's running along the west side of the parcel is a rock wall with the wooden fence on top of it. These first handful of photos were provided by the applicant. This photo, you can see their home and then looking east on Lundy Road. If you look in that right portion of the photo, you can see a piece of the RV. This is looking west on Lundy Road. Again, if you look up kind of in the middle of the picture to the right of the home, you can see the RV. This is looking straight on. You can see the RV there to the right of the home. And then this is an up-close picture that was provided by code enforcement. Better image of that rock wall with the wooden fence on top, which provides a pretty good barrier between the RV and the abutting neighbor. Staff was comfortable with the level of screening that they've provided. It's in keeping with the neighborhood. The RV's in good condition. Washoe County Code Section 110.310.35G requires that no discharge of litter, sewage, effluent, or other matter except into sanitary facilities, and also requires temporary utility connections to the satisfaction of Northern Nevada Public Health and Building. Garbage and recycling are removed every Thursday. There's an electricity connection to the power box. The RV has a propane tank connected to it. The site is served by community water and sewage systems through Sun Valley General Improvement District. Health provided a condition, Exhibit A, requiring the RV to be hard plumbed to community sewage or that a flexible hose be used between the RV and discharge point. Health, Washoe County Water Rights, and Nevada Division of Water Resources all reviewed the application. All three provided conditions related to the applicant meeting Sun Valley General Improvement District's requirements for water service. All of those are included in the conditions of approval. And then finally, Sun Valley General Improvement District also has a condition requiring their inspection of that sewer connection. The application was sent to 15 agencies for review. Any conditions they provided are included in the conditions of approval. Public notice was sent to 65 property owners within a 500-foot radius. I didn't receive any comments from any of those property owners. Staff is able to make the required findings and is recommending approval with the attached conditions of approval. There's a possible motion for your consideration. I'm available for questions. The applicant made every effort to be present. I was actually very impressed by her efforts, and last minute, her young daughter woke up with a stomach virus this morning. So she's going to try to be on Zoom if she can be, but the applicant's been very, very good at working with me, so.
Okay. Thank you. Is the applicant present and on Zoom, and would they like to make a comment or?
Yes, I believe we have Nicole Peterson. Nicole, if you could please state, okay, yeah, say your first and last name for the record.
Hello, this is Nicole Pedersen.
The floor is yours.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm present. Thank you, Catherine. You did a fabulous job presenting our case. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer them. Otherwise, I think Catherine covered all of it pretty well.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's open up public comment. Do we have any public comment?
There is no public comment in chambers, and there are no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, we'll close public comment, bring it back to the board for questions, discussions. Anybody have anything?
Peter Gishon for the record. I just maybe wanted legal's opinion on the interpretation of the statute regarding the licensed physician affidavit and not having one.
Unfortunately, the code is clear that the requirement is an affidavit of a licensed physician. And I've been looking through NRS 630, and those are different licenses. Under the code as written, the requirement is a license of a licensed physician.
And I don't know if Mr. Lloyd or Ms. Stark have any previous examples where the board has approved something without?
I've had a couple of cases. Oh, it was several years ago, but yeah, within the past few years.
I can speak on that. We have made exceptions because exactly of what she talked about, being unable to get a physician to sign off. And we have made exceptions. There's been numerous ones in the past, but they have to be right up there next to a doctor. It can't just be some nurse or something like that. They have to.
Leo Harishny for the record. My understanding, I'm not a medical professional, but my understanding is that any licensed nurse practitioner has to be operating underneath, is connected with a licensed physician. So to be a licensed nurse practitioner, as this person is, she cannot be operating unless she is operating in concert under an existing practicing licensed physician. So, yeah, it's healthcare in the 21st century. And I don't know who, or if there's a concern about that, I don't know who or how you go about making the steps to add that provision into statute or into the ordinances. But I don't feel that there's any concern or there's no going around anything with someone, because if the patient is being seen by the nurse practitioner. The nurse practitioner is who is treating the patient and knows the patient, so.
And if I may, we recognize the need to make this adjustment, this amendment in code,
Okay.
because that is the intent. The intent is that it be a licensed physician or their assistant. However, legal, Beth is correct that the black and white word is a licensed physician, but the board has made that interpretation that underneath the licensed physician, the assistant has that authority. That's been some past practices.
Yes, and I can verify that also. Been involved in numerous ones, so. Any other comments?
My, Leo Horichny, for the record, my wife and I happened to go up there and drive and look at the property, and it's clearly one of the tidier ones in the area, and there's no concern as far as we saw that things weren't being done as are proper or so forth, so.
Kathy Julian, for the record, I have no issue with this.
Okay. And this is Rob. I personally don't have any issue with this one. Each one is a case-by-case basis. I'd have to look at every case differently, so. Anyways, if we don't have any more discussion or questions, can I get a motion?
Peter Gishon for the record. I move that after giving reasoned consideration to the information contained in the staff report and information received during the public hearing, the Washoe County Board of Adjustment approve administrative permit case number WA Admin 24-0004 for Justin and Nicole Pedersen with the conditions included as Exhibit A to this matter, having made all 5 findings in accordance with Washoe County Development Code Section 110.808.25.
Can I get a second?
Kathy Julian, I second.
All right, I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. All right, that brings us to 8D, special use permit, case number WSUP 24-0004 for Sun Valley GID main pump station. Mr. Lloyd, please announce.
Yeah, for hearing, discussion, and possible action to approve a special use permit for the construction and operation of a new main pumping station. An existing pumping facility will be replaced with a new main pumping station. The project will include construction of a new pumping station on a vacant previously cleared parcel and the addition of parking spaces and landscaping. Representing Washoe County in this matter once again is planner Katie Stark.
Floor is yours.
Thank you. Katie Stark, Washoe County Planning. The case before you is WSUP 24-0004, the Sun Valley General Improvement District main pumping station. The project request is for a special use permit that would allow construction and operation of a new main pumping station, which falls under the utility services use type. The project parcel has a regulatory zone of general commercial, and utility services uses are permitted in general commercial with an approved special use permit. The applicant would like to replace an existing pumping facility, which is located on a different parcel, with a new main pumping station. It would include construction of that pumping station and then associated parking spaces and landscaping. The project's located on a 0.344 acre parcel owned by Sun Valley General Improvement District in the Sun Valley Planning Area. It's on the corner of East First Avenue and Prosser Way. Here's an image of the site. The yellow rectangle is the proposed pumping station, and then you can see up to the north there would be East First Avenue and then Prosser Way along the east. This shows the project site in reference to surrounding parcels. You can see that all the abutting parcels are also owned by Sun Valley General Improvement District. They're also all zoned general commercial. So history, the existing pumping station was put into operation in 1965 and is the main pumping facility that moves water through the Sun Valley General Improvement District system. The replacement is necessary in order to continue providing reliable, safe quality water to customers, as well as allowing new connections. Construction of the new pumping station would be on a vacant parcel. The project site is close to Sun Valley GID's administrative offices and maintenance and operation facilities. The construction on a vacant parcel will allow the existing pumping station to continue full operation while they're building the new pumping station. The project site itself, pretty straightforward. It is flat, not a FEMA flood zone, no wells, no septic, leach fields. There was a residence previously on the property removed back in 2010. So there are water and sewer laterals that already extend to the property. There is a lovely elm tree that will remain. Staff did take this photo. This is looking west from Prosser Way on a site visit. Regarding parking, their code requirement from Washoe County Code Table 110.410.102 for off-street parking requirements for civic use types. For the utility services use, the parking requirement is determined by the use permit. So that's the special use permit we're looking at today. And then associated Washoe County Code Table 110.410.15.1 requires a handicapped space for every 1 to 25 parking spaces. So this facility will not be open to the public. It will not be regularly staffed. It will only be visited daily for routine maintenance. So staff believes that the 2 parking spaces, one of which is handicapped accessible, are abundant for the needs of daily stops at the facility. Washoe County Code Section 110.412.40 discusses landscaping requirements for civic use types. So the first 2, A and B, apply to this particular property. The first is 20% of the developed land needs to be covered, landscaped. The second is that required yards adjoining streets, which would be, again, east first along the north and then Prosser Way along the east. Have 1 tree every 50 linear feet. The original, depending on what version you may have looked at, the original landscape plans did not include the trees. When I requested, the applicant was quick to provide an updated landscape plan with the trees, which is up above. There are additional requirements in this particular piece of landscaping code if the property is abutting residential uses. If anyone happened to look this up on mapping imagery, they were showing on Worms and other spots where I checked that there was still a home on the parcel to the south. However, that was the reason for my site visit. There is no longer a home on that parcel, so no need to provide the additional buffering for residential uses, particularly because the surrounding parcels are now general commercial. The staff believes that the project meets the master plan intent. This is from Envision Washoe 2040. I'm going to read a little portion of the Sun Valley vision statement. Sun Valley embodies a safe and healthy place to live, raise a family, work, run a business, recreate, and retire. In the future, Sun Valley will continue to prioritize its people through the prioritization of sustainable growth, supporting healthy lifestyles. Staff believes that that safe and reliable water is key to sustainable growth and a healthy lifestyle. And then the items on this table are from the priority principles and policies in the master plan. Policy LU 6.1 refers to infrastructure and services for healthy and safety reasons. And again, this is definitely an investment in infrastructure that will provide safe and healthy water. And then PFS 2.3 and PFS 3.5 are looking at a community water supply system and those services being within the TMSA, which this property is. So the application was sent to 20 agencies for review. Any agencies that provided conditions, those are included in Exhibit A. Public notice was sent to 59 property owners within a 500-foot radius. Staff did not receive any comment from those surrounding property owners. Staff is able to make the required special use permit findings and is recommending approval. There's a motion for your consideration. I'm available for questions. The applicant representatives are here. They're not intending to provide a presentation, but they're available for questions.
Okay, thank you. I have to ask, does the applicant want to make a presentation, even though she said you don't? It's up to you, sir. No? Okay, so we'll move on to public comment. Do we have any public comment?
There is no public comment in chambers or Zoom.
Okay, and then we'll bring it back to the board. Questions, discussion? Do we have anything?
Leo Harishny for the board. I'm a Sun Valley resident. I go by this corner every day for work and often. I just have a small concern. I have no issue whatsoever with the project. I just have a small concern as to the fact that the existing, it's a unique, the site itself is flat, but the borders, there are some steep grade transitions there. And in periods of heavy either runoff, snow melt, rain, or whatever, that the existing drain that's right there at the north, on the very north edge of the property line up against First Street, there is a drain there, existing drain, that regularly is overcome with whatever existing runoff there. I see that there's landscaping planned in there now, but I just would like to let Sun Valley know that when you put in that landscaping and whatever barrier, be aware that there's already some flooding, overflow, soil and debris washed onto the roadway in the eastbound First Avenue lane, not every time, but regularly. I have a small concern that whatever landscaping and stuff put in there might actually end up causing more runoff into the road. That's just something that I've seen over the 20 years that I've been living there and driving past there, so.
Did the applicant want to respond on that? I think the applicant's going to give you
Sure.
a reply.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Nick O'Connor with Shaw Engineering, and this is Chris Melton with Sun Valley GID. So we do have a grading plan and drainage plan. Obviously, it hasn't been shown over there. And then we will do grading and everything on the site so that it does, perform correctly and grade and drain into the existing.
You are aware of the drain that I'm talking about,
Yes.
that big square. And have you seen, are you aware? Okay.
Yeah,
That's,
we're aware.
okay,
So
that's fine. Just,
yeah,
I have a, as long as you know that it's there and you know that it is an existing issue with nothing on the site, I welcome this opportunity to maybe have it graded and attended to so that it's better in the future. So that's all.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, and we will do, full-on building permit with Washoe County. So when the time comes for this.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything? No questions? Okay.
I have nothing.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Kathy.
I have nothing, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, well, then I would entertain a motion if we don't have anything.
I move to approve
the special use permit for the main. So I move that after giving reasoned consideration to the information contained in the staff report and information received during this public hearing, that the Washoe County Board of Adjustments approves with conditions a special use permit, case number WSUP 24-0004 for Sun Valley General Improvement District, with the conditions included as Exhibit A to this matter, having made all 5 findings in accordance with the Washoe County Code, Section 110.810.30.
Wonderful. We have a second?
I second.
Kathy seconds it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to 8E, variance case number WPVAR 24-0005 for a Juniper Hill variance. Mr. Lloyd, can you please announce?
Yeah, for hearing, discussion, and possible action to approve a variance to vary the fence height along the front property line from 4.5 feet to 6 feet for security, privacy, and aesthetic purposes. Representing Washoe County in this matter is Staff Planner Tim Evans.
Welcome, Tim. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Tim Evans, planner. Excuse me. The case before you today is variance case number WPVAR 24-0005 for Juniper Hill. So the subject property is located at 160 Juniper Hill Road, and it has APN 009-13151. The subject parcel is 2.1 acres, and the surrounding parcels around it are developed with single-family dwellings. The subject parcel is currently vacant, but the surrounding parcels, for the most part, are developed with single-family dwellings. This property is located within the Southwest Truckee Meadows planning area, and the property is zoned high-density rural. So the request before you today is a variance to increase the fence height from that allowed by Washoe County Code from 4.5 feet to 6 feet for security, privacy, and aesthetic purposes. And so on the screen is the site plan that was submitted with the variance application. And as you can see, it's outlined in the red box to the upper left corner of the site plan, the area in which this fence is proposed. And so per NRS 278.300, it sets forth the requirements that the Board of Adjustment must look at in order to grant a variance. And there's 3 different ways and circumstances, so to speak, that can be done. So the first one is exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of the specific piece of property. Number 2 is by reason of exceptional topographic conditions. And number 3 is an extraordinary or exceptional situation or condition of the piece of property. So looking at exceptional narrowness and shape of the property, the subject parcel is 184.31 feet in width, and Washoe County Code Section 110.220.55, yard and lot standards requires a minimum width of 150 feet. So the subject parcel exceeds that allowed by code or minimum required by code. And the subject parcel is rectangular shaped, which is not an exceptional shape. There are other parcels in the surrounding area that have the similar shape and are also square. So none of the subject parcels have any odd shapes or exceptional shapes. Therefore, between the narrowness and the shape of the property, neither one of those qualify as an exceptional circumstance. Moving on to topographic conditions. So the property, as you can see by the orange lines there on the screen, shows that the property has a gentle slope. So that doesn't qualify as an exceptional topographic condition. There's not like 50 or 60% slopes or something crazy. And so the last circumstance or thing that the Board of Adjustment can look at is extraordinary and exceptional situation or condition. So the applicant provided 2 statements within the application in relation to this, and the first one is that there are privacy walls similar to those or similar to other properties in the area. And the second one is that there's it would be for a sound barrier, security, and privacy, existing walls across the street, bounce sounds. An example is car traffic off that wall into the property requesting the variance. So the applicant, with the application, did not provide any specific examples, but the applicant did state that there are similar privacy walls in the general area. So planning staff went out and conducted an initial site visit. During the initial site visit, I was able to locate 2 properties along that street on Juniper Hill, one at 155 Juniper Hill, which is the picture on the upper right of the screen, and another one at 345 Juniper Hill Road. And upon an initial look at the fences and things like that, one thing to note, I did not step foot on these people's property or anything like that and pull a tape measure and measure them. I stood as close as I could possibly get and judged it by eye in looking at it. And upon initial investigation, looking at all of the fences and walls that are there, it appeared to be a 4.5-foot wall. That being said, after doing a second site visit, more recently after the staff report was prepared, I did find that in certain areas, there are portions that are up to 6 feet in height at both 155 Juniper Hill and 345 Juniper Hill. So that is a correction to the staff report, as the staff report does state that there are no 6-foot fences. However, that being said, that does not change staff's position on the findings that I'll discuss a little bit in more detail here in a minute. And so, looking at both of those fences and during the analysis and preparation of the staff report, I went through all the building permit records that I could possibly find specifically for both of these properties. And it appeared that both of these fences, at least the one for 155 Juniper Hill, was constructed approximately circa 1991 or before. So it was constructed quite a long time ago, and the requirements for fences were likely different under Washoe County Code at that time. And then the same thing for 345 Juniper Hill Road. So the fence that is currently existing there, it was a replacement of an existing fence in 2010, from what I recall, per the building permit. And then looking back all the way as far back as 1996, the oldest building permit we have on file, it showed that there was a fence there as well at that time. So it looks like the existing fence that is there was just a replacement. So the fence prior to the current fence was there before 1996 or at 1996. So again, it's the same situation like 155 Juniper Hill. So that being said, with all of that, while staff does recognize that there are fences or walls at both of these properties, we look at variances on a case-by-case basis, and being that these are there does not necessarily factor into making the findings for this variance. So this project was sent to 13 agencies for review, and all of the agency comments are included as Exhibit A to the staff report. Proper noticing occurred for this property and this project, and 45 parcels were noticed, and as a result of the noticing, no public comments were received. That being said, staff is unable to make all 4 required findings as detailed on pages 10 and 11 of the staff report, more specifically the special circumstances finding and the no special privileges finding. So staff recommends the Board of Adjustment deny variance case number WP VAR 24-005 and provides the motion on the screen as well as on page 11 of the staff report. And I'm available for any questions. And I believe the applicant is here and may have a presentation as well.
All right, thank you, Tim. Is the applicant available? They want to make a presentation.
Yeah, no real presentation, but appreciate everybody's time.
Can you please state your name?
Yeah, Mike Crawford. I'm the owner and Randy McReynolds contractor. So just our intent, building a new home on Juniper Hill Road, second parcel on the left as you turn off Mayberry and are going south. It's on the left, on the east. So just building a new home, trying to fit into the neighborhood. Familiar with the neighborhood, growing up in that area. So our intent was to really fit in aesthetically, and then as Tim mentioned, the other considerations was security and sound. Our goal and what we've scoped out was the exact same fence that is on 345. So if you keep going, well, the first, I would say from from Mayberry to the next street to the south is Basque Lane. The majority of the west side of Juniper Hill Road is walled. So the first wall, we've got pictures, the first wall is approximately 6.5 feet tall. And so that's what we sent to Tim when the recommendation was to deny the permit. We sent these measurements in saying, no, those fences are not 4.5 feet, and it actually creates a sound problem. So the first wall, it's a long wall, that's roughly 6.5 feet, and then the wall at 355 is just under 6 feet. And this is the wall that we would match. That was the entire intent from the architect, et cetera. So I assume, well, I heard what Tim had to say, so I understand the reason for denial. But if you drive up the street, the fence that is directly across from us, it looks almost like 7 foot. The ground kind of slopes up. There's a lot of sound that bounces off that and comes into our house or into our property. So that's a factor. Obviously, the security, people not being able to jump over a 4.5 foot wall is a factor. And, we obviously the notices were sent out to the entire neighborhood. I don't think anybody responded. We had people contact us and said, we'd be in support. How could we help you? Because we would prefer a wall there that would match 355. So that's, anything else? That's basically my presentation.
Okay, thank you. Can we open up public comment? Do we have any public comment on the matter?
No public comment in chambers or Zoom.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the board for questions, comments. So I got a question for you. That wall, I drove down your street today. You got a beautiful home. Looks like you're building there.
Thanks.
The wall directly across the street, is that 6 feet? Have you measured it? Did you measure it?
That's the one that's at least 78 inches.
Okay,
The one on the west, on the right, as you're driving south,
yeah.
yeah.
That's,
Yeah, it's.
Okay, that's what I
It's
thought.
yeah, it's.
it
it's
looked like it.
clearly
It looked
over
like
6 feet.
it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the right color and all, okay, yeah.
And the one on 345 is actually the same manufacturer,
Okay,
identical wall.
okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the one, that's the one across, straight across, and that's
Right.
78 at the tape. It's got pillars, so it gets taller and
Yeah.
shorter at some points.
right,
The other,
Okay.
the other thing too is, I don't want to create a situation like, I guess that's 155, the one you're talking about. I don't want to create a situation like that. I think the wall height will end up be around 5.5 feet because it'll be dug down, so people can still see into our house and, see the property in the house, kind of like 345 or 355 further south. You know how you can see the house? But, I think the one across from us defeats the purpose because it feels a little cavernous type thing.
Actually, the grade at the fence location is approximately 16 to 20 inches below the street surface. So it's going to be down lower.
so it's gonna be down, okay. Do you have anything? I know you do. I got a question for Tim. Tim, I got a question. So, the property, you showed us, on page 7 of the staff report, the property line in the front and the road. I don't see a paved road there on Juniper Hill, but I'm assuming this is old. So where are you, so the setback is 30 feet, right? Is that from the center of the road, or is that from the edge of the property line? Where is that set from, one, and then what is it designed for in their application?
Tim Evans, planner, so yeah, exactly. The distance, where it's measured from, that 30 feet is from the front property boundary. So it's not from the center line of the road or anything like that, it's from the front property line back. And as far as the purpose of the fence height, is that what you were getting at?
Well, yeah, and is there utilities in that area, in that corridor? Is that why there's a setback, a 30-foot setback, or is it? Is there
It's-
another reason?
So there's various reasons for setbacks. One of them could potentially be the utilities. There are utilities along in there, as well as aesthetic purposes, making sure that, the house is set back a certain distance, and in this case, the fence, for aesthetic purposes.
Okay. So if they wanted to put this without the special use permit, they'd have to go 30 feet from the property line back in order to put this in without the special use permit,
Correct.
which would cut out quite a bit of your property, huh? And I'm assuming that you guys looked at that, right?
Yeah, where we're planning, some of the fence at.
Can you state your name? I'm sorry. They
Sorry,
record
Mike
all this.
Crawford, homeowner. The fence at 155, if you notice, it's probably 5 feet off the road. It's very close. And so that creates that sound bounce. I think our fence off the road is maybe 3 times that. I'm guessing at that, but it's much farther off that road, if that.
So
yeah,
it'll
but-
be like 15 feet?
Yeah, it's probably something like that. It's not right on the road like that, but to go 30 feet back, it would change everything with the property and the layout, et cetera. There's a irrigation ditch that runs down from the ditch, and it runs north through our property right there. So we'd have to reroute that farther down, east into the property. So that was never really a consideration to move the fence 30 feet east.
You couldn't put the ditch maybe in front of the fence?
Yeah, you probably could. Yeah, we're trying to have some sort of water in the property just because we've got
Right.
it right there. We're
Gotcha.
not using it for irrigation.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and let my
I'd
colleague
just
in.
like to make a comment, Randy McReynolds, contractor. So the actual gate to the property is about 28 feet off the edge of pavement, asphalt. So it's set back, it's not in line or parallel with the fence, the actual wall.
Okay. So that's 2 feet. You're only 2 feet short. Okay.
Well, it's kind of an alcove, entry. So
Right,
the
right.
gate's
I
set
got you.
back.
But still, they're measuring from point to point, so, okay.
So the body of the fence will be off the front property line, then it curves in to 28 feet for the entry gate.
Correct.
Yeah.
Peter Gashon for the record. Yeah, this is a tough one. We've had 4 fences in as many meetings, unbelievably.
I agree. Yeah.
And unfortunately, the Nevada revised statutes puts us in a very tiny box. The property has to be exceptionally narrow or shallow. There has to be exceptional topo, so neither of those conditions are met. And then the third is extraordinary and exceptional situation or condition in the piece of property. We've seen exceptional and extraordinary conditions vis-a-vis parking garages, casinos, and things of that next door, but I'm the guy that always tries to find a way to fit something into a box, but I don't find an extraordinary situation here unless you or my colleagues can convince me otherwise.
Yeah, yeah.
Kathy?
Go ahead,
Kathy.
Kathy. Yeah, go ahead.
I tend to agree with Peter on this. In the Crystal Bay instance, I was able to find that extraordinary issue, but not in this. And I would simply encourage, if this is a systemic issue, then applicants and the community should go take the issue to the legislature and change the rules, if that's something the communities want. But I can't really find this in conformance with the requirements. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought I saw something in here about a retaining wall. Tim, can I just ask you one more question? If they put a little retaining wall, if they put like the retaining wall down and put the fence on top, 4.5 feet, would that satisfy the code, or
Tim Evans, planner. So to do that would be, it would still count towards it if you're
Yeah.
stacking a
It would
fence on
still
top of that
count,
retaining
okay.
wall.
I'm
it would
just
still
trying to
count.
Yeah,
figure out
that's come up,
something.
yeah, that's come up before.
I know. Okay. All right, so do you have anything else as an applicant to try to convince us of what we should change from code here to allow you to do this? Our hands are kind of tied in a way, so.
Well, I would reference 345 Juniper Hill Road. That was built after 1991. The existing fence that we're going to match, what criteria?
Well,
did they meet?
we have to find a special circumstance, something along that line to allow so you're just basically going with the neighbor across the street, down the street, saying,
No.
because they've got it.
Leo Hiroshini for the record. We weren't there that long, so I don't know, at least at 345, I want to say that, I don't know if that was 30 foot back, but that one was definitely notably further back off the road. I don't know if you've checked. Yeah, that's notably further back. Obviously, your properties, your layouts are different between theirs and they definitely have a topographic difference with yours. But that was my memory that the one at 345 looked out of current code, but at least it was further, set back than the one that you have, unfortunately,
The fence
facing
or the
across.
house, the structure.
The 345 fence. Yeah, I don't know if that was 30 foot back. Yeah,
It's very close.
is it?
But the house is certainly set way back, further back.
Okay.
Is there the circumstance, the road surface, and then where the fence would be located, like I said, is 16 to 20 inches lower. So, I mean, if you had a 6-foot fence, essentially from the road surface to the top of the fence is going to be less than 4.5 feet. Would that be,
Yeah.
take that in consideration?
We will take that into consideration, absolutely. We would measure it essentially from the edge of the pavement.
Yeah.
With that, whatever. So if there is a fall off the road, yeah, we could provide some flexibility in that regard. We'll talk offline regarding that,
Okay.
if that works, yeah.
Mike Crawford, the only other thing I can think of is the sound. If you're standing on our property, the exceptional circumstances, because of the fact that there's almost a 7-foot wall that runs, the majority of the west side of, well, the entire west side across the road from our property has that wall, and you can hear the sound when you're standing on our property. I mean, that wall, and it is right on the road. If it was set back like 345, it would be a different story. So ours will be, probably, I think it's 15 feet, somewhere in there. It's very similar to 345 in terms of the setback off the road. It doesn't meet the 30, but it's the design is pretty much the exact same. The contractor doing it is the exact same contractor that did 345. So it's a really aesthetically pleasing and matching the neighborhood. The problem is the one across the street is the 7-foot wall, and it happens to be right on the road. And so if you're standing at our house, you hear every car and anything bouncing off that wall coming right at our house. That's the part that I think could be considered extraordinary.
Okay.
Can you expand, Tim, Trevor, on what you're describing? Because, I mean, if the request is for a 72-inch wall and it's set 20 inches below grade, if my math is right, they're only off by 4 inches.
It could very well be. I didn't realize you're saying there's a 20-inch fall from the
16 to
road?
20 as an average.
20 seems like a lot, huh? No?
No, I just had Dave just check it.
Okay.
Well, we can verify that.
Sure. Yeah, that's always been the interpretation, that if there is a fall, a decline off the road would be measured essentially from the edge of the pavement.
So just to clarify that, so if they went 4.5 feet back, then they're looking at just a couple feet tall.
Possibly, yeah. Again, we'd have to see,
Yes,
how
right.
it's
That's
engineered.
existing grade. we can regrade that to make sure to 18 inches.
You would actually grade down to,
Well, you got your road surface and then it slopes off
okay,
the side of the road, 10 to 12 feet. And we still have to do our final grading on the lot. So we could actually grade that down, just create a little bit more of a slope. Swale would still work and we would meet that
Okay.
18 inches below road
that might
surface.
work. That might work.
Leo Harishny, and this is probably for Tim. So I understand that we're definitely becoming familiar with fence shenanigans. And I understand that when you're replacing an existing out-of-spec fence, that it can be the same. But isn't there don't the landscaping requirements come into play, though, if they've replaced the fence? Or does, if I'm replacing an out-of-spec fence, but the new specs also require landscaping, does that also not affect a homeowner when they're replacing an existing fence?
Tim Evans, planner. So as far as that goes, in relation to landscaping, most of the wall requirements, specifically in relation to landscaping, is to create a barrier between like commercial and residential, not necessarily a roadway in a residential area and the dwelling. So that's
okay.
really what that's more driven towards.
Okay. Because that, to me, wouldn't solve your problem. But, and I don't know that you could retroactively go back after it, but looking at that fence, if they had at least been obliged to have put up some bushes in front of that fence, would have been a huge.
That would help with the sound.
Huge.
Definitely help with the sound.
But I don't.
If I may,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chair, for the record, Don Christensen. I think, as I look at in the package in its totality, it does not meet the requirements to approve. Having said that, this board is often overridden by the county commission, and that's certainly your next appeal right to apply, particularly if you're going to change some of these specifications. Great idea, but when we take a look at this particular application as it's presented, it doesn't meet our standard. So if we're ready for a motion, I'm willing to make a motion.
If we don't have any more questions or comments, then we're ready for a motion.
Okay. I move that after giving reasoned consideration to the information contained in the staff report and information received during the public hearing, the Washoe County Board of Adjustment deny variance case number WPVAR 24-0005 for Mike and Stacy Crawford, having been unable to make all four required findings in accordance with Washoe County Development Code, Section 110.804.25. Specifically, the board is unable to make a finding of special circumstances either due to the exceptional property dimensions or shape, extraordinary topographical features, or an extraordinary and exceptional situation specific to the property. Additionally, the board is unable to make a finding of no specific privileges granted.
Do we have a second?
Jillian, I second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. All those in favor say, of the denial, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes for denial. Sorry.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is it over?
Go ahead.
Mike Crawford, I was just curious, would it be an option to reduce the approval, say 5 foot, the variance to be 6 more inches, or 12 inches?
If you.
Or is it all or
if you
none?
wanted to, the appeal procedure, you have to read them the appeal, but I
Right.
think you'd have to go through the application process again.
Yeah, if I may, and actually that is a very good question. I think we offer another option. It's a minor deviation that does not require you to meet all of the stringent findings of a variance. And I would suggest that you talk to Tim about that option.
Okay.
But I think that certainly may be something that we could certainly consider, as long as it's less than a 10% deviation. And I believe if you're talking 6 inches, I believe that's within that 10%. So 5 feet might be an option if you're willing to go through a minor deviation.
Does that require coming back
No.
here or just
No.
working with Tim?
That's handled administratively.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Thank you, guys.
He has to read you the appeal procedures just for legality reasons.
All right, most decisions rendered by the Board of Adjustment are appealable to the Board of County Commissioners. If you disagree with the decision of the Board of Adjustment and qualify as an aggrieved person or party, you may appeal in writing within 10 calendar days from the date the decision being appealed is reduced to writing, filed with the Secretary of the Board of Adjustment and mailed to the original applicant in the proceeding being appealed in accordance with Washoe County Code. Please call the planning staff immediately at 328-3610 for information on the appeal procedure and the application fee.
Thank you. Yeah, work with Tim. I think he can help you out.
Thank you.
All right, so that brings us item number 9, chair and board items. For future agenda items, do we have any? I would like to ask that we get a count on how many things that we've denied that the county commissioners have overrode and approved, because we haven't had one in a while.
Okay, over how long of a period?
Over the last year.
Last year? Okay.
Please. Yes, that'll make it easy on you. Do we have any information from staff requests? No? Okay, then we'll move on to number 10, Director Legal, previous report of previous Board of Adjustment items.
I have nothing to
You
report.
got nothing? Legal?
Trevor,
No,
how about Sky
Board of-
Tavern?
sorry.
The Board of County Commissioners upheld the Board of Adjustments ruling in Sky Tavern relating to the lighting, which was appealed.
Oh. I
The
was thinking that was
lighting?
Planning Commission, that was Board of Adjustment, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, the Board of County Commission upheld the decision of the Board of Adjustment on the Sky Tavern lighting. Thank you.
Did the 10 days go past, or did they appeal that decision also? Or do we know?
Oh, the Sky Tavern?
On the, where the county commissioners upheld ours, did it get appealed again, like to the courts or
Oh.
anything? Or is it over?
Not aware of any petition
You're
for
not
judicial
aware of
review that's
anything.
been filed at this time.
That's what I
Thank
wondered. Okay, thank you, perfect.
Good deal.
Okay, Peter, did you have anything? I'll just make a whole list just for you. Line item, nothing? Okay. Okay, let's open up public comment. Do we got any general public comment?
No public comment in chambers or Zoom.
Okay, with that said, it is 2:37, we're adjourned.